Let's take a look at superimposing titles over video. Now I've already got my opening screen set up. We did that in the previous video. What I want to do here is add some text to reinforce various pieces of information. So I'm going to start with Scott.
Hello, I'm Scott and welcome to my kitchen.
So there where he says, hello, I'm Scott, I want to put a lower third that puts his name on the screen. So this again is going to start with my effects library. If I don't already have it open, I just have to click the little button here to turn on the effects library. And for this option, I'm going to choose one of these lower thirds. And because he's on the right side of the screen, I'm going to grab the right justified, our lower third. And just click and drag it onto the timeline right on top of where I want it to be. Okay. So just drop it down there. And you can see here that title has appeared. I now have 2 rows of text to play with, which is a little bit different than the basic text tool. I just now have to go over here to my inspector. And again, if the inspector is not turned on, it's just this button in the top right-hand corner. Give that a click, and the inspector window will open. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it stretched floor to ceiling because I've got a lot of things to play with. Now, if you scroll through here before we get started, no, haha, I have made a mistake. I've almost made a mistake. You can see that my playhead is pointed at this lower third, and I can clearly see that this lower third says title. But if I look up here in the window, it tells me it says with Scott. What's going on? What's going on is that what is selected on the timeline is this last title that I made, text that says with Scott. So any changes I make are not going to appear on my lower third. They're going to appear over here where I typed with Scott, and I'm not even going to be looking at them. I'm going to be changing things blind. So all I have to do, and this is a very common thing with me, I forget to do this all the time, is come over here and click once on the correct title, the title I want to edit. Now I'm looking at the proper information over here. So notice that I actually have 2 sets of controls. I have this upper one that says title, that has font and size and positioning controls. And then if I scroll down, I don't even have to scroll down. There's a second one that also says title and also has font and size and positioning controls on it. And then as I continue going down, here are my old friends, drop shadow, stroke, and background. I only have 1 set of these. But this allows me to have 2 different looks in my lower third. So the other one, I'm going to type Scott Majors is his name. And I, again, like boring fonts. Let's go with Tahoma. Okay, and maybe we will make that bold. Nope, we won't make that bold. I don't like that at all. Size does what you think it does, right? I can make his name a little bit bigger, which I think that I will. Tracking line spacing, these are all just like in the other. These are all just like in the basic title. X and Y positioning, X and Y zooming, rotation, these are all the same. So I'm not going to touch any of that. And then down here where it says title, I'm going to change this and give him a title. It's going to be Coffee Guru. And again, we don't like this font. I think that's what we used before. Now, because this is his title, oh, I don't actually have an option of italic, do I? All right, let's go back to my boring Arial, because Arial has an italic font face. Okay, and I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. I want it to be smaller than the, let's try 100. Yep, I want it to be smaller than the other one. And maybe this one I'll even change the color a little bit from being a pure black to just a little bit of a gray. Okay, now I'm going to come down here, and I don't really think I need a drop shadow on this one. I could either put a stroke to outline it because it'll make it a little bit easier to read, especially with the white text over the kind of light area in his shirt and the kind of light area in the background there. I think that what I will do instead is I'm going to put a background on this. So I'm going to raise my height up a little bit. Squeeze the width in. Now notice that this actually is going way off the side here. So I'm going to move my X center to the left a little bit and see if I can't get this to line up. There we go with my title. And I don't like that color. I want to go back to my something that's indicative of coffee. All right. So now I've got a lower third going here. Maybe I'll make it just a little bit wider. Okay, perfect. There's my lower third. I've identified who he is and why we should pay attention to him, right? He's Scott, and we should listen to him because he's a coffee guru. And now I'm just going to make sure it starts right where he says,
Hello.
so there where he says hello, I'm going to go ahead and slide it over so it starts there.
I'm Scott and welcome to my kitchen. Today we'll be talking about how to make the perfect cup of cappuccino. We'll start with...
Okay, lovely. There we have our first lower third.